Zoom's popping up.
Okay, it's just connected.
That helps. I can see it then.
You can see it.
Yep. Setting up your meeting for custom streaming services.
It's coming slowly but
As
surely.
soon as that thing pops up,
This thing.
yeah. Look at that.
Get rid of this.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're live, Dan.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today at 6:42 for our regular council meeting on Wednesday, May 26th. I'd like to start by calling the meeting to order with the adoption of agenda, please. May I have a motion, please, to adopt?
Everhart is with Mayor.
Yes,
I have an amendment to the agenda.
sure. So you're gonna move it with an amendment? What's the amendment, sir?
It's a new business item.
New business? Do I have a seconder for that with the amendment?
I'll second that.
Yeah, what's the amendment?
It's a new, it's something under new business. It's a point under new business. So I have a mover and I have a seconder. Any objection? Hearing none, it's carried. Okay, moving on. We're any disclosure of interest tonight at the table? I'm hearing
None,
none.
Mayor.
Thank you very much. Carried. Moving on to pages 3 to 7, we have the approval of minutes, correspondence 4.1, regular council meeting, May 12th. What are council's wishes?
I move
I
to
can
accept.
Thank you very much, Councillor Hudson. May I have a seconder, please, for that?
Councillor Smith.
Thank you very much, Councillor Smith. So I have a mover and I have a seconder. Is there any discussion required? Any objection? Hearing none? It's carried. Okay, but there's no deputations tonight. There's nothing on the variance report. We have the approval of accounts, pages 8 through to 15. Schedule accounts 10-2021. And I'm just going to get there. For the amount of $63,552.37. What are council's wishes?
Your
I
Honour, I would move acceptance of that if found to be correct. And
Thank you very much.
One question on that finance. It's to do with the public works. I think there was a course taken. Could anyone tell me what the course was?
Matt, I know Matt took a course. There was a couple of courses he took with Terry Good Roads. I believe Joe's on the line, though. He might be able to explain more. I think Joe's here.
Is there any clarification required, Councillor
No,
Clark?
that's fine. It was just I wondered what the courses would be. That's fine. I'm quite happy.
Thank you very much. And I heard Councillor Hudson throw up a second to that motion. So is there any further clarification required from anybody at council?
No, I second just what Councillor Clark was asking about in clarification of what the course was. Always good to know what professional development is happening.
Thank you very much. Any objection to passing this? I'm hearing none. It's carried. Okay, moving on to staff reports. We have staff report 8.1, report from the acting clerk regarding a police services board meeting. So to let everybody know, we were going to a joint police service board with other municipalities. I guess that's changed now, and the OPP has reached out to us and has asked us if we wanted to go alone with a couple other municipalities and have a more localized group. In my absence, I was able to have Councillor Clark attend this meeting. So I'm going to see if Councillor Clark has anything he'd like to add to this. Also, the acting clerk was on there as well. So Councillor Clark, you've got the floor, sir.
Yeah, it's pretty simple, really. It's to make up boards, and the government wants these boards to be made. I found it kind of strange that the detachment commander, the government was kind of suggesting in Gail, correct me here if I'm wrong in anything. But the government was suggesting that with these boards, they didn't want the detachment commanders to be involved in them. Now, the way they wanted to set it up, you could set it up and it was Napanee and 3 other communities. There was Tyendinaga Township and Deseronto and the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte. It came down to through discussion that, and again, Gail, correct me if I'm wrong here, I got the impression that Napanee weren't too keen on coming west. They wanted to stay with themselves and the other communities. Tyendinaga Township, who was represented by the warden, Deseronto, we were in agreement to join up together to create the board, and the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte, they wanted to pretty well stay on their own. So the whole thing was left that's the way that I think the detachment commander is going to go back to his people and say, Tyendinaga Township, Deseronto, they want to be a board on their own. Tyendinaga Mohawks want to be a board on their own, and then Napanee and 3 other communities, they're going on their own. And that was basically what the whole discussion was about. It was a fairly lengthy meeting, but that's what it came down to. And I ask the question, I still don't understand why the government want police services boards to be created and not have the detachment commander in charge of all those detachments, why he wouldn't be involved in it. And he couldn't really give an answer to that. I think it was more not say anything and get into trouble. But that's the way it was left, or Gail can correct me if I'm wrong. As I say, it's Tyendinaga and Deseronto. We will be our own board, and Tyendinaga Mohawks will be their own board, and the other 4 communities east of us, they will create their own board.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Councillor Clark. So, so this sounds like it's going back to the way it used to be with the old police services board, opposed to what the OPP has started up over last year. So this is a little bit more in depth than what we've been participating in, correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. There is a recommendation. Actually, does anyone have any questions for either Gail or Councillor Clark?
Mayor, it's Deputy Mayor Everhart is here.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I am a little bit disappointed that it isn't a little more holistic with the entire area the detachment serves. I think the idea behind the idea of these community recommendation groups had a good impetus, and it made sense, and it looked like it was moving policing back into some civilian oversight when you have an OPP detachment and you don't have an agreement. That being said, I believe the next best thing would have been what is proposed right now. Deseronto has an emerging relationship with our neighbors in Tyendinaga. We are working together on many things, and Tyendinaga Township is a very flexible, good partner. I understand why the Mohawks of the Bay of Quinte, for historical reasons and based on their service levels, would want their own board, but I am completely supportive of the idea of working with Tyendinaga. At my heart, though, I would appreciate the outreach from the Lennox and Addington municipalities. I believe we have more in common than they choose to sometimes acknowledge, but I definitely support the work that Councillor Clark has done in moving us to this point, and I know that Deseronto and Tyendinaga will definitely be good participants with the OPP, so I am in support of this resolution.
Thank you very much. So does anyone else have any questions or comments? So if not, there is a recommendation that we submit a letter along with Tyendinaga Township advising that we'd like to form our own board.
Deputy Mayor Everhart, I shall move that, please, sir.
Thank you very much. May I have a seconder, please?
I'd second that, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Clark. Any further discussion? Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Next, we're moving on to correspondence regarding a resident complaint. Everyone's had a chance. Everyone has had opportunity to see the concerns that were raised. We all received the email. So I thought let's throw it on here. Let's have a discussion with respects to what the email was about. And here it is. If we want, we can. Anyone likes to start the discussion?
Mayor, if I may, Deputy Mayor Everhardis.
Sure.
I always appreciate when residents are forthright and directly address council about concerns, and the concerns in that letter, and I'll keep the resident anonymous. Our concerns a lot of people have right now. COVID-19 has changed the scape of the economy, and many people are struggling. One of my number one concerns when it comes to tax policy in this country is the fact that municipalities have to rely on property taxes and grants from the province as their key funding sources, neither of which are means tested, meaning that when someone loses their means of income, their taxes, like income tax, aren't adjusted downwards, and it's tough. Right now in our area, there are a lot of people who have lost work and are on government programs like the enhanced DI. And with our tax bills this year, I'm very proud, and I think it was very good of our staff and very good of our council to not pass a huge tax bill on to the residents. But it causes me to think, what can we do more? Because the pandemic isn't over. We are in a third wave. We are currently shut down. And it causes me to think back to what we did last year as part of our pandemic and humanitarian efforts for our community and residences. I think the key thing here, I think June, July, and August will be recovery months for many of our families. And if there's a possibility of waiving interest fees for June, July, and August, that would be something that I think would address part of the concern here and provide a little bit of relief. It's not tremendous relief, but it's some relief, and save some worry of people who would be then getting, an increase of interest on their overdue taxes. Honest people pay their taxes, and there's always a reason why people cannot. And sometimes right now, I think the unemployment thing, people just cannot prioritize paying their property taxes, and I don't want them into a huge mess in the future. So I'll leave it at that, sir.
Thank you. Any other comment? Okay, well, first off, we have to deal with the request of the resident. I honestly thought that we were waiving interest charges, but after speaking with staff on this one, it actually never did make it into our motion back when we first started. When we implemented the new shutdown measures. So we have the penalty that's in place right now. We have to deal with that, and then we can deal with the recommendation that the deputy has made. To be completely upfront, we now have the ability. We're in the process of getting the ability to receive taxation through the method that this resident would have been able to provide us. But unfortunately, based on personal reasons, this person was not able to pay their taxes before getting hit with the penalty. So we have to do something with that. So what are council's wishes on the penalty?
Mayor?
Yeah.
If I might, as an equity piece for everyone, as soon as you waive one penalty, you'll have other people that are in the same situation requesting the same thing. I'm unsure on how to proceed here in a legal fashion. I know council has great powers to do what it needs to do, but the courts have powers to say, council, you can't be arbitrary. What is the total penalty on this individual? I'm having
$7.03.
My goodness, if we had that ability in 2014, you would not have Deputy Mayor Everhardis sitting here, let me tell you. I think at the end of the day, I don't think we can do anything about that penalty, and I'm speaking from experience on this issue. I think the key thing would be, as a move forward basis, to provide that resident some reassurance so they don't have to throw it on a credit card at 19%, that they could have a waived penalty for June, July, and August. I think that might be the easiest way of going forward.
Anybody else have any comments?
I would just agree with the recommendation that's been made, Your Honor.
Anyone want to throw out a motion?
Deputy Mayor,
Yeah,
I move due to COVID-19 that we waive fees and penalties on water and sewer bills as well as tax bills for the months of June, July, and August.
do I have a seconder for that?
Counselor Smith.
Thank you very much, Councillor Smith. Any further discussion? Hearing none?
Could you just explain that to me, Deputy Mayor? We're saying that we don't charge at all?
We don't charge interest fees. We waive the interest penalties. So if you're late on your tax bill for the months of June, July, and August, you're not being charged the interest penalty because of COVID-19. So it allows people who are unable to pay at this time the ability of not having that extra interest thrown on their tax bill. And it allows them not to have to go out and use their credit card to try to pay the piper. I know there's a little bit of probably a cash flow implication, but last year it was minimal. And we've done a lot better at collecting our taxes in arrears. And this will give some people that are hard up right now due to employment issues a bit of a break. And, you know, it's a goodwill gesture to our people. We acknowledge that right now there is no program to help them with their property taxes when they're not working. Oh, there's programs for all sorts of other things, COVID-19, but the federal and provincial government have forgotten about property taxpayers. And our homes are our castles. They're one of the most important possessions we have. It's a good gesture, I think. I hope that clarifies it, Councillor Clark.
And just, do I understand
I
then?
disagree.
Just one second, Councillor Hanson.
that-
Sorry, go ahead, Councillor Clark. You got the floor.
No, and just, do I understand then that if we vote that, then we're voting against the recommendation?
No, the recommendation, so right now what's being proposed is that we receive the report with the recommendation and then further it with another motion. So I think that's what's on the table. I need to close out the first order of business before addressing a secondary order of business.
Okay.
So that's what
Alright.
I need to do. No, that's all right, Councillor Clark. It's
Alright.
kind of, it hasn't been fully weeded out yet. So I need a motion for the first one.
I would move the first one, Your Honor.
So the motion would be to recommend that council receives and takes no further action.
That's correct.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that?
I'll second that.
Any discussion regarding that point specifically? Hearing none? Carried. Okay, the next one was a motion by the deputy mayor requesting that we waive interest and penalties for the month of June, July, and August. But still, you're still responsible for paying your taxes, but we're just waiving penalties and interest if you're a week late or whatever. That's the motion on the floor right now. Do I have a second? I think Councilor Smith, I think you've seconded the motion originally.
Oh,
So I think I've got a mover and a seconder. I've got the deputy mayor put the motion out there. I've got a second by Councilor Smith. Any objection?
Mayor,
Councillor
if I
Hudson.
just might ask,
Sorry?
Mayor, if I might ask,
Yeah.
would the individual that has made a concern, would they be liable for interest in May? And would it be an administrative burden to if they are liable, that we change that to make sure that it stops for May? Because I know we're in May right now. We received this in the beginning of the month. I wouldn't want any individual right now that has brought this to our attention to have another ding on the tax bill. Is there any indication from staff that would be a problem?
Steve, actually, the interest that's on her bill now is May's. So the interest
Perfect.
is done for May. So going
Excellent.
forward,
Thank
we
you.
won't.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Any clarification required from you, Deputy Mayor? Are you good?
I am very fine, and I'm pleased with the motion as it is. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion on the table. I have a mover. I have one, I've got two. Any other objections? I've got one objection, correct?
I object.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a second? Any further objection?
I would object.
Okay, that puts it 2-2. I'm going to support the motion. So that puts it over. So motion carried. Okay, moving on. I just gotta get to the top of the screen. I just gotta get back to the other agenda, guys. Okay, moving on. We have pages 16 through to 29. We have a staff recommendation to council with respects to an equipment purchase. This is a this is a budgeted purchase. So here it is. Here are the comparables that we were looking at that we've requested. And the recommendation is in there. What are council's wishes?
Mayor, can I move to put on for discussion? I have a question for staff.
Sure. It's may I have a seconder, please, for that?
I'll put forward a second to talk to staff.
Thank you very much. So I have a mover and a seconder. Okay, Deputy Mayor, what's your question?
Thank you. And thank you for the Public Works Manager for being on the call tonight. My question is based on the Strongco case versus the Brandt John Deere purchase. I know we own case accessories that go along with the backhoe. And I know that we've asked for a bid that is equal with the same accessories for the potential John Deere backhoe. They're less than $10,000 apart. What is the current status and maintenance of our accessories, our buckets, our tools for our case? And does that warrant maybe consideration of the second new John Deere because the accessories would be newer? That's my question.
Okay. Each one of them are providing one new bucket on the back.
Okay.
And we have right now four buckets for the back of the case backhoe. And if I just find the John Deere. On the Strongco one, they were supplying one 24-inch bucket.
Okay, so we're getting a bit of an advantage. We're getting a new bucket, Joe. Plus, we have our
one new
stuff.
bucket from Strongco. Hang on. Here. John Deere quote here.
I see it, Joe, in the bid. Thank you.
I'm just fumbling through these papers here. I can't find the John Deere one.
It's crazy. I think sometimes it's the papers that are fumbling, and then on my end, it's trying to scan through all these electronic things. I think I got my answer, Joe, from what you said about they're providing one bucket, but the real value is the stuff we already own. That they're all sort of apples comparing, but we have some things that make our apples that we have a little better, and it's a difference of $10,000.
Yeah, Steve.
Thank you.
Hey, Steve.
Yeah.
Okay, and then each one of these companies in the last bit have come out with adapters to try to make a case backhoe go on a John Deere or a Cat backhoe. They're not as good as what the original part would be, but they've come out with an adapter. It makes the bucket a little 2 or 3 or 4 inches longer. Like,
gotcha.
You know what I mean? The companies don't want to lose deals because of the attachments. So here in this last about 2 years, each company has come out with an add-on piece that you put on your machine so you can utilize whatever buckets that you have.
but
Follow
at
me
the end
on
of the
this one.
day, the case bid is a little bit under, so why not go with it? Joe, thank you for
Yeah.
coming tonight. I always learn something from you when you come, and I appreciate you extending your day. I'll be supporting this motion to purchase the case backhoe. Thank you so much.
Yeah, okay, Stephen, thank you.
Any further questions at all for Joe? Any questions regarding the purchase? If that, okay, if there's no further questions, I will take a motion to accept the Public Works recommendation to start procuring the case backhoe. I have a motion?
Everhart, so moved.
Okay, I've got it from the deputy. I do have a second for the purchase.
Counselor Smith,
Counselor Smith, thank you very much. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none? Carried. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to correspondence 8.4, staffing requirements for Public Works. Everyone received some documentation today with respects to a recommendation from Public Works and from the acting clerk. This is to accommodate a possible 4 to 6 week worth of staff shortage. And this is to help us make sure that we can maintain our parks and our cemetery and other grass cutting commitments around the community. So everyone's had a chance to see the recommendation within. And the recommendation is we would recommend that council bypass our current policy to allow us to get assistance for the Public Works Department on an interim basis.
Everhart?
Yeah, do you want to move it?
I just want to ask a question.
Yep.
My internet is completely down. I have my regular council agenda package, but I'd be darned to get the stuff sent today coming up. Feasibility, we're looking at 4 to 6 weeks. So that's going to put us into mid-July. Do we have anybody in mind? Is this available? Because we're in a high time for Public Works. And I want to make sure that they're able to move the maintenance stuff, the planted baskets, the parks, the streets, the culvert project, which will all be starting at that point. Is there a plan, Gail or Joe, somebody in mind that we can sort of pick up and get going?
We had a few in mind today and we checked them out and nothing has worked out so far. So we're kind of back to the drawing board tomorrow to try and come up with a plan.
So just to give everyone
Yeah.
a bit of background, they did look internally to see if there was anyone that had the capacity to assist. We didn't have that capacity. So with that being said, it looks like staff was looking at using contracted help in order to assist over the 4 to 6 weeks. That they felt that would be the most expedient and the most cost-effective way to do business.
Yeah, I would agree with that then. This is unforeseen. This is an exception that no one could predict. And I think the busyness of the season requires the support. I don't want our permanent staff to be overburdened at this point. So I move that we waive the requirement and that they are authorized to pick up 2 people as soon as possible on a temporary basis.
Thank you. Councillor Hudson, you have comments?
Sorry, yes, that was my question is that we're bypassing a current hiring policy, but I think it was slightly clarified that there is conversation on why we would be doing that. And my question was, how were we not foreseeing this in the first place? Public Works is very good at knowing what they need. So that was just my question.
Yeah, so what's happening here is not really a hiring policy as it is to bring somebody in like a contractor. There was an unforeseen situation at the streets department that has caused us to lose an employee temporarily.
Okay.
And without going into further personal details, that's pretty much all I can give you.
No, that's fine.
And that was the unforecasted absence. Yeah. So it's really not to bring anyone onto staff as much as it is to provide resources. Am I correct, Gail, Joe?
Yeah, that's right, Dan. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Joe.
It just, yeah, at this point, possibly the last thing I have is 4 weeks, and then it's to be reassessed at that point. Okay.
So,
Other than that, I don't know.
so Joe, so just for everyone's
Yes.
benefit, your goal is to hire like say a lawn care maintenance company to come in and help us with our lawn care maintenance in the interim, correct?
That's what I was coming up with, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that provide clarification for council of what's being asked here?
It does, but is it completely necessary?
Like, do
Is that a silly
Like-
question?
Well, no,
I
I
don't
wouldn't-
mean to be combative in
say
any way.
no, I wouldn't say that it's a silly question at all. What it is we have to cut the grass at all the parks. We have to put the hanging baskets up. We have to do all the flowers, and we have to maintain the cemetery. Right now, we're down to a complement of 2 people at the streets department, as well as maintain all the other projects within the budget. So we run at a complement of 3 full-time during normal time. So now we're in our busy time. We're down to 2. So I
Dan,
personally,
we used to run 4.
That's correct. Yeah. Sorry, Joe. Yeah.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt, but like.
Oh, no, that's all right. No, that's
in
cool.
Yeah, like it's a 4-man department, and we've been running the last year because of this COVID stuff with 3. Now we're down to 2, so there's absolutely no way that we can keep up with it.
So, Joe,
So,
how much time is spent on this task during the summer? Maybe that will help council understand the ask a little bit better.
One person is completely. That's what they do: cut grass and water flowers. That's their schedule. And then we blitz all together. We go down to the cemetery as a group.
Thank you.
Years ago, we used to go down with 5. Used to be 5 of us going down. And right now, we borrow one of the guys from the water plant. Whenever he's available, he comes. But if we have 4 of us down there, we can get it done in one day.
Previously, this was a contracted position at one point in time. We actually took it back in-house with a transfer from the cemetery board to the streets department. But previously, this was always done by a third-party contractor.
Okay, good. And see, thank you for the clarification, Mayor, because that was my question. Is I have full confidence in our streets department, and so I just was unsure of the reason of contracting out versus fully investing in more people in our streets department. So understanding that is something that's been done before in the process is helpful.
Thanks. Yeah, so we looked at everything, Councillor Hudson. We looked at the time frame that would be needed. So to put out a normal RFQ to get it out there to vet everything, bring it back in, we're looking at anywhere between 3 to 4 to 5 weeks. That would, by then we've got long grass and we're letting other projects go. So we looked at, like I said, they looked at calling around a few people today of employees that we have in town to see if we could accommodate in-house. That wasn't possible. Joe was thinking about trying to do it himself and then decided otherwise and thought, no, he couldn't maintain the standards that we as a council want with the current complement.
Okay.
Any further questions at all? Yeah.
Mayor, I think I made a motion, if my memory serves me right, that might not be adequate. I think I said bringing on staff. Can I amend that to say bringing on appropriate contracted services?
Yes,
I don't know if there was a second.
Oh, yeah, you did. You have Councillor Smith has a second. Councillor Smith, would you agree to the wording of changing it from bringing on staff to bringing on the appropriate contracted resources?
Yes, I would.
Thank you very much. Any further discussion? Any further clarification required? Any objection? I'm hearing none. Okay, it's carried. Thank you very much. Thanks, Joe, for being here to answer the questions. And thanks, Gail, for making all the calls today. Okay, moving on to committee board meetings. We don't have any yet, but we will soon. Actually, I'm going to take advantage of this time frame for a second and try to reschedule some meetings. Okay, so we had some technical difficulties yesterday that threw off our meeting, so we weren't able to proceed with the operations meeting, and we were pending a little bit more information for the planning meeting. Gail, when do you expect that we'll have a formal report to address the topics that we discussed yesterday?
Joe's meeting with Steve Blakey tomorrow. We should have something by the first of the week.
Okay, without trying to put too much stress on the situation. I'm just trying to think what would be the best week to call this meeting. We have a council meeting on Wednesday, June 9th and June 23rd. We expect to have a comment and a report back by the end of this week. Let's say, give me 1 second here. Monday, June 5. Gail, do you think that'll be enough time to get everything in order for us?
It should be, yes.
I think it's the 7th. That's Monday, June 5.
Am I the wrong?
Yeah, it is.
Where am I? Okay, so Monday,
I-
June 7.
Perfect. I would avoid a Saturday meeting. That's great, Your Worship.
How is everybody else from Monday, June 7?
Time?
So far, so good.
Okay, so how 4:30?
June 7th is a Wednesday.
No, it's a Monday.
No, it's a Monday.
Where's my calendar? My calendar says it's a Wednesday.
Which year?
No, you're in July.
June 2021.
You're in
That's July.
July. Oh, that's my problem. Sorry, guys.
No problem.
I see the 7th as a Monday. I'm a month ahead. I'm like, oh, summer, please, summer.
So
Sorry.
June 7th, 4:30, is that good?
4:30.
Yep. We want to so that'll go from 4 to 4:30 to 5:30. Do we want to do the operations from 5:30 to 6:30 same day?
Why not, sir?
Kevin, you good with that?
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
As soon as that's down, we'll knock down and we'll get the other committee up and running as well, as soon as we can knock down these 2 meetings. Okay, Councillor Hudson and Councillor Clark?
Yep, that's good.
Okay, so let's pencil that in for June 7, 4:30 till 6:30 if you're a part of it all. And it'd be the same agenda as what we've got. And Gail will get the additional correspondence out for the planning agenda. Awesome, thanks. Moving on to items requiring action. We've got 10.130 to 36. We have a request for new board members from Trenval. What are council's wishes? Anyone want to volunteer?
Your Honor, I would recommend that we receive and file, but I am quite interested. I might look into that a little bit more.
Let us know, Councillor Clark, if you are. Maybe not-
I'll-
if you do decide to throw in an expression of interest.
Well, I'll tell you right now, I am interested.
Perfect. Thank you very much, sir. So I'll take a motion to move. I've got the Councillor Clark's motion to receive. Do you have a second?
I'll second that, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, sir. Any further comment? Hearing none? Carried. Okay, moving on to 10.2, page 37 through to 38. It's a request for sponsorship from a podcast. I think it's American-based, is it not? Nonetheless, you see it, pages 37 through to 38. What are council's wishes?
Mayor, Deputy Mayor here.
Yes.
Although I think all of the asks are very good causes, I don't know if it's in the scope of the municipality to support. And I move that we, unless someone wants to pull one out for further discussion, that we receive and file all of those asks, sir.
So we're talking 10.2, 10.3,
That's right, sir.
and then we will deal with 10.4 because there's actually one in there that we can do something with it.
Perfect.
I will take it if that's council's wishes. So I have a mover. Do I have a seconder to receive correspondence 10.2 and 10.3?
I would second.
Thank you very much, Councillor Clark. Any objection? I'm hearing none. Carried. Moving on to correspondence 10.4, page 62. It's a request we often get. What are council's wishes? So they're requesting praise music in the park again is what they're requesting. They're requesting use of the pavilion and let them use the electricity as in previous years.
I would move that we accept that, Your Honor, if everything is in order.
Thank you very much, sir. May I have a seconder, please?
Counselor
Ever
Hudson.
heard of?
Thank you very much, Councillor Hudson. Any comments?
Mayor?
Yeah.
Just a clarification, everything in order means COVID-19 allows it, correct?
That's
Councillor
correct.
Clark?
That's correct, Deputy.
And then I'm in full support. Also, though, Mayor, it does jog my memory that we've authorized a fishing derby in July to use our boat launches. I think we're all right there, but maybe our staff should take a double check to make sure the ask is going to be in compliance with the reopening of Ontario at that point.
Yeah, just we can always include in the motion that we accept the use of this pending that it abides by local restrictions, and we can let them know that any other event that's going on at that time at our park.
Nice, thank you, sir.
So I have a mover and I have a seconder. Any further comments? Any objection? Hearing none. Carried. I have information items or items requiring no action. 11.1 through to 11.3, pages 63 to 96. Council's wishes.
Ever heard us? I move to receive and file.
Councilor Hudson, you want to second that?
I was going to say I move to receive and file.
Perfect. Okay, I'll take your motion. I'll take the deputy as your second. How's that sound?
I'm very pleased with that.
Thank you very much. Any further comments? Any clarification required on any of that? I'm hearing none. Carried. Okay, we're into new business, and I believe that the deputy mayor added something at the beginning of this meeting.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. It's a request that came out of our budget discussions. At that time, there was a discussion about getting a report from Transit as an update of what's going on with ridership during COVID-19. I haven't seen such a report, so I'm going to move that council directs staff to prepare a report on transit ridership and the number of bus daily drives for January, February, March, April, and May for the first meeting of June as an update piece.
So what you're asking for is you're asking for a Q1 ridership update. You're asking for a Q2. You're actually looking for a month and year-to-date update. Can we request in this that we get quarterly updates then from Transit on a regular basis?
And I could add that. In fact, it would be something nice to receive on a monthly basis at the first meeting. What happened the last month? It's one direct thing that the board, it does do a lot of work, and I want to see how the work's going. And we don't know how Transit's faring since this wave has started. It's caused me a little bit of worry. There's been an influx of cash, so I will add, and that these are received monthly from here on in to that motion as well. So
year-to-date update, and then a monthly after that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks. Sorry to cut you off. Do I have a second for that?
And I'll email that to Gail tomorrow so she has it, so she doesn't have to copy that down.
Do I have a seconder for that motion? I'll second it. Going once? Going twice.
Excuse me, I can second that, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Clark. Any objection? Not hearing any. Okay, I'm gonna push that through. Carried. Okie dokie. No notices of motion. Does that complete your new business, sir?
That is, thank you, sir.
Thank you. No notices of motion tonight. Going around the table, I'm gonna start with the one that I can see. Councillor Hudson.
Notice of motion tonight, just as we wrap up May, which is Mental Health Awareness Month. And with everything that's going on with COVID, I just hope everyone is taking care of each other, and just wishing best wishes to all our patrons in Deserano.
Thank you. And the next in line, I've got Councillor Clark.
Yes, Your Honor. I've had quite a few people in the last, let's say, week to 10 days of, excuse me, have been asking me about the July 1st and fireworks and so on. And I've been telling them what council's position is. If it's possible, we'll have them. If the lockdown of that's still on, then we wouldn't. And just about every single one of them, Your Honor, has said, well, if we can't have them in July 1st, could we have them if the lockdown is stopped somewhere later on in the year? Could we have the fireworks as a celebration or a special event? And they seem to be really interested that the fireworks would bring cheer to the public. And I said I would bring it to council and let council know, but I don't know if it's going around the town or not. But the last 10 days I've been hit by a lot of people that have been inquiring about that they would like a firework display sometime this year to celebrate either the end of the lockdown or make up something to celebrate and have the fireworks.
Well, I imagine that's quite a doable suggestion. We have budgets in the 2021 budget to purchase the fireworks, so it's definitely conceivable. Councillor Hudson, you got your hand up? Oh, so she's got fingers
I am
crossed.
just showing fingers crossed because I totally second the sentiments of Councillor Clark. I know that fireworks for me, and I know for the community, it something that would bring us all together. So I totally second, third, fourth, all his sentiments when it comes to figuring out how we can do that for the community. I know it's not a memorandum, just commenting on his.
Can I have a motion then to transfer this over to the Community Development Committee for further discussion? Maybe it's a good way to start it.
That motion for you.
You want that?
Mayor,
Yeah.
Mayor,
Deputy?
point of order here.
Yeah.
Because we're in member statements right now, maybe best, we are in a situation where, we're not supposed to motion, although I do share the former mayor's sentiments completely. Could we maybe just have this as an issue on our next agenda and we can make our decision there?
Sure.
And that would save an extra meeting?
No, that's perfect. Yeah, let's just do it. Okay, Councillor Clark, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add it to discuss at the next council meeting. How's that sound?
That sounds great.
Perfect. Thanks, sir. Anything further for you tonight?
No, sorry. If you're asking me, that's just the usual that everything seems to be going along the right way as far as the virus, and hopefully people are paying attention, and it's just the same. Appreciate the staff and all of you. Take care of yourselves and look out for other people as well.
Thank you very much, sir. Councillor Smith.
I have nothing tonight, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of the Desron Public Library Board, I'm very pleased to announce to the community that Tara Mendez has accepted and has been working as our Chief Librarian at the Desron Public Library. Tara comes to us with a wealth of experience leading other community libraries across the province. She currently has a Master of Library and Information Sciences degree from McGill University. She is a vivacious supporter of our community. She's quickly learning our Deserontonio-isms, which we all know are the things that make our community great. And she's working hard to position our library in the next few months to be very vibrant when we're able to reopen it again. So I'd like to, on behalf of the board, welcome Tara to our community. She's originally from Kingston, so she's not too far. She was familiar with Desron before, so that's excellent. So thank you, Tara, and we look forward to working with you.
Thank you very much. And Deputy, for the update, and thank you to the Library Board for all their efforts and putting this together. Much appreciated, and welcome Tara to the team. Okay, moving on, we have bylaws. We have bylaw 15.1, 97 through to 123. This is housekeeping from our last meeting. It's the bylaw to authorize a franchise agreement between the town and Enbridge Gas for a third and final reading.
Mayor, I move that bylaw be read a third time and pass this 26th day of May.
Thank you very much. Do I have a seconder for that?
I second that.
Thank you very much, Councillor Clark. Any objection? Any questions? Hearing none? Carried. No closed session tonight. So we're moving on to 17.1. page 124. Get yourself off mute there, Councillor Hudson. You're up. It's a confirming bylaw 45-21.
I read the confirming bylaw for the proceedings of the regular council meeting held on the 26th, the day of May 2021, to be read a first, second, and third time.
Thank you very much. May I have a seconder, please?
I'll second that.
Thank you very much, Councillor Clark. Any objection? Hearing none, carried. Motion for adjournment?
I think that should go to Kevin.
Okay, so Councillor Smith, motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you very much. And I saw Councillor Hudson throw her hand up, and I imagine there's no objections? If
None,
not,
sir.
thank you very much, staff, council, and the town of Desron. Have yourself a great rest of your week. Take care.
Have a
Same to
great
you.
night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye-bye.